Fans are fans of your art.
No, I
What you do with that feeling is your responsibility.
Exactly.
No.
Finish your question.
Please, I cannot. I'm serious.
Apologies. Hi guys, welcome. Welcome back to episode 2, season 5 of the Tribe UG podcast. Like I said, we're easing into things, so they don't over. As per usual, Damzi here, and today we have an exciting lineup for the day. But first, before we get started, I'd like to ask my colleagues in the struggle to introduce themselves. On the extreme right.
Struggle. Guys, I'm back. Yo. Hi guys, welcome to the second episode of the Tribe UG podcast. So glad to be back here.
Yeah, you're just happy to be here. I'm happy to be here.
Nepotism is a good
happy
thing.
to be here. Well,
I know people in higher places.
it's good to have you. And on my extreme left,
This man just keeps swinging by at the right time. But yes, it's the Count Markula. Like we said, season 5, episode 2, we're still going. Makobi made it back. Damzi is, of course, here to stay. And guys, like Damzi said, we have a special episode for you because we have our first guest of the season. We have a rapper. Yes, as you've heard, we have a rapper, performer, the man behind the collective known as Bantu Vibes that introduced us to artists like Cohen JC, Akine, Manly, Lucas Black. As in the list, it's a list. A bad man that used to, the bad man that went from organizing functions at high school to having his own stage at Nyege.
There were signs.
Entertainment
From
movement.
back
He
then,
knew.
there were
He knew.
Mm.
And then this same bad man, an award winner, by the way, this same bad man also gives us events like the clan meeting. The man even gives us community Fridays at the corner in Nigeria. Like, the man just gives us a lot of work, but he's also the artist with the baddest signature ad-libs in the land. Denesi.
Whoa, welcome, Dennis.
Yeah, man.
Before you say anything, Mark,
Yeah.
is this how you talk about me when you're telling people about me? Is this how you introduce me to? Because if this is not what you're doing, you and I have a meeting after this.
That was such a remarkable intro.
But Dennis, welcome to the Tribe UG podcast.
Guys, I'm very happy to be here.
Finally.
Thank you. A special thank you to Count Makula for that dope intro. Yeah, man.
Tuliwano.
Indeed. Yeah, man.
As usual, we like to start with no pressure, no crazy conversations and questions. We want just something simple. Guys, I want all of us to take a small trip. Let's talk about one song for everyone that takes you back to a specific moment, memory, like a song that gives you some kind of throwback, whether it's a recent throwback, a far one. You know, they ask when you say TBT, when you say old school, how far is old school? What is the range? Yeah, today it's
Old
up to
school
you.
is relative.
Yeah,
It's
so
very
today
relative
tell us
in
your
my
throwback
opinion.
song.
Start with Makobi in the corner. By the way, us here we are first learners. You have a uniform, so start.
Wow. Ugandan, right?
Preferably, yes.
I'd say 2 songs. One is Drain Me Dry by Big Trill and Yvonne.
Do what?
Yeah.
What does it throw? What's the memory?
I know.
Because
So when I was in high school,
okay.
so each time we showed up for not a very long time ago. Why are you doing that?
No, I'm just go on.
Yeah, so each time we came for class in the morning before, the teachers showed up, I would have like a clan meeting, right? where I would be just talking about songs and who released this, what do you think about this song and whatnot and stuff. And that time was
Podcasting before take.
exactly. That time was when Big Chill and Baboon Forest was like crazy, putting out bangers and stuff like that and whatnot. And the normal people, the other people knew the usual Big Chill songs and stuff. So my friend and I were actually jamming to this and breaking it down and stuff like that. So when he performed it at Blankets, all those memories just came back. Yeah.
Ooh.
Not what I expected, but great.
So Dre, yeah.
I'm
So
underwhelmed.
so Drain Me Dry, Big Chill, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
text me
good
back
choice.
there.
All right.
Denesi.
Mine, I've thought about this carefully. It has to be Twalanze by Cohen JC.
Mm.
2019, it was before we ever knew COVID would come. Everything was beautiful. Everyone had like the brightest hopes for the future. And that's around the time when Cohen was like trying to put together an album. And then that's one of the first songs he made. And I was just like, yo, bro, you're going to have the dopest album I've ever had in my life.
2019, decided to take that
2019, yeah, man. So, and having like such people around you who are so talented always like leaves you feeling inspired. It feels you living like you always need to do more as a person as well, because it just like you're being around beautiful singers just feels beautiful, because the melodies are always just like,
Yeah.
and the poetry is also going crazy. Yeah, man, just makes you feel like falling in love and getting married immediately. So yeah, man.
Such deep feelings.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Now,
looking
because
for
of
this
the
guy
lyrics,
today.
bro, Twalanze was one of those songs that it just gave you the confidence to just be like,
Come see it.
I'm falling in love today, fam.
Wow.
You dig? Yeah, man.
Okay, good choice. For me, The Myth, Fire, Lighter, Tikita.
Ooh.
That song takes me back to simpler times because you guys adulting. Woo. Like back then, when that song came out, like things were kawa. Like we were young, we were carefree. We're not so young no more. Well, I'm not, but it's so ghetto. But yeah, I really like that song. It's one of my favorite songs from The Myth. And when things are rough, you just go back and lighter, lighter, lighter. Yeah, you know.
Oh, yo.
Amen to that, Damsi.
I see what you did there. Well done.
You know,
Well
you
done.
know. But anyway, mine, I want to be disruptive
Your
as
songs
usual.
always come with mob jazz. Just tell us the song and we go.
I think no much fixing. No much
Disruptive.
fixing.
No much fixing today.
Exactly.
But mine is it's not that far back. It's a constant thing. Earlier this year, Genesis Chimera released Omalayo.
Ooh.
And I've had that, of course, on loop since it came out. But the memory part of it is being at the corner when Genesis performed it. It had just come out, and for me, the whole vibe of seeing a song that like you've just heard it, you're already obsessed with it. It's barely been a week. He's performing it. The vibe was vibing. It was a proper blast. So for me, yes. Also because it's a bad tune. So check it out, guys. Bad in the good way, for those who are wondering. But, yeah. So that is mine.
Okay, cool. I mean, good songs. We should always. But Producer Hassan, now when we produce the episode and it comes out,
To my
let us
list.
add links. We cannot be here talking all these wonderful things and we're not giving people
needs to be
referrals.
some
Let's
links.
leave it as it is.
And guys, if you want those links that Producer Hassan will give you, you better like, follow, subscribe, share, everything. You better just be in the mix and be in loop so that whatever we share, you get to access and enjoy. So, yes, the Tribe UG, you know what it is.
You're really
Yeah. Felix, I must stay employed.
Yeah, really looking for it. But well done. Well done.
Yes, I actually forgot to say, guys, in case you're wondering where Felix is, man, Munange, Damzi told you last time he was telling us about the friends in high places that he has. He has gone to see them. He has left us. He boarded the plane without us. But yeah, luckily for us, at least, he didn't take Ian with him. He sent Ian to the village instead. So we good. We good. But
Ian,
we'll
I
be back
miss you.
eventually.
Ian, let me look in the camera. Ian, I miss you.
Alimba. Lies.
Come back home.
So, Denesi,
Yo,
how is it?
yo,
How
it's
has it
going
been?
very well.
How has it
That's
been?
nice. Must be nice.
It's going very well.
It's at ease, eh?
Attention.
Wow.
Denesi, you're a very versatile person, just like Mark has introduced. There's a lot that you do. There's a lot that you have your hands in.
Yeah.
So today we want to explore you. And you
Ooh.
tell us.
That
Do
sounds
you often
interesting.
hear things like that? I'm like,
That's it today.
That's on fire.
But anyway, yes, we did mention, for instance, Bantu Vibes. And while we were, getting ready for this, we're wondering,
Yeah.
maybe we'll hear from someone who's, because of course, we also have a lot of work that we do, and it's interesting. And someone was asking, what do you think are the roles of such platforms for artists? Such collectives, such groups that do stuff in the industry. What do you think, as you, from your point of view, what do you think is the role of such movements? Let me say.
Man, I feel like the main role is to like establish a sense of identity within the people, especially the audience of the nation. Like, if I looked at a day-to-day Ugandan today and how they perceive themselves and how they think about themselves, I think it's through these platforms that they get to understand who they are. Because ultimately, when music is created and when different forms of art are created, whether it's art or like videography or whatever, we're trying to pick from a place of how do Ugandans behave every day? What do Ugandans eat? How do they feed? How do they dress up? What do they worship? What are their tribes, cultures? How do they get married? And all these things, they sort of contribute and educate the way that art is created. And without that, people cannot be sure of what their culture is. People cannot be sure of what their identity is. And that's how you find that you have generations that maybe grew up heavily influenced by maybe an American sort of culture. And then you have youths who are, trying to do like the drill thing that's going on in the UK. And then you have people trying to like sort of over-emulate the Afrobeat sound and overdo the Amapiano thing, because these are places that have created these platforms that tell the story of who they are as a people so well that even from outside, if I played you a drill instrument right now, this is from the UK, immediately. If I got like a certain type of rice, everyone is going to think that's probably from Nigeria. That's like a jollof rice. You know what I'm saying? I mean, right now it's the most intuitive thought that people have towards rice.
I thought you were going to say Declan, but okay.
There's also that. There's also that. So I feel like the role of these platforms, whether it's the Bantu Vibes or the Tribe UG or whatever other platforms come up and they're trying to tell the story of Ugandans through art, the role is for us to create a real sense of identity and a sense of self that's so strong that people can derive their confidence from the art and that people cannot be shaken. Because without a sense of identity, you don't really have any real confidence. You're always going to be wanting to be liked. You never really... You're going to be people-pleasing your way through situations. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be a very plastic version of who you could potentially be. And... yeah, man. Yes. Yeah, man. So I feel like at the core, you're trying to appeal to the hearts and minds of people to really love themselves and to love where they're from and to represent that authentically to the rest of the world. Yeah.
You came prepared.
No, I be prepared. But
All the time.
It's natural.
Wow.
all the time.
I love it.
Freestyle and rehearse.
I love it.
Okay,
Yeah.
So for me, I'm trying to be like Mark and give a backstory to my question.
Okay.
Anyway, for me, first of all, I love what you guys do at Bantu Vibes. It's very good stuff, and it's cool. It looks cool for a kid at home. They'll be looking at you like, I want to be like Akini, or I want to be like Denesi or whatever.
He's Akini payroll.
He's on a payroll.
She said hi to me this week, so Anyway, but so you guys as Bantu Vibes or the tribe and stuff, are you while you're doing all these cool things and stuff, are you trying to engage people like what's the word, other stakeholders like sponsors to get to invest in like your events and things like that, and if you are, how are you doing that?
Man, we've contacted a bunch of sponsors, obviously, but it's a thing that we've always had this thought in our minds that whether we get the sponsorship or not, we're going to do this regardless.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who come into like trying to do like communal kind of things, and they're like, yo, we need to get the sponsorship first. We need to maybe get like UN or MTN or whoever to come on board, because we need money to do these things. And I genuinely feel like you do not need money to do these things first and foremost. I feel like you just need the ability to communicate with people, you know, and sort of influence people to follow a vision, and go to a place that is similar. So if we both want the same thing, I feel like we can both help each other to achieve that thing. And not to discredit the sponsors, I feel like people like MTN have helped us a lot. Some of the alcohol companies have helped us a lot. We're waiting for for Damze to link us up to also some other people to help us.
Well,
People pressure. But anyway, all in all, I feel like the resources are very important, because like we're in this studio and there's all these cameras and lights and everything is beautiful, the sofas, the backgrounds. These are the kind of resources you need to be able to tell an authentic story to the rest of the people out there. And I feel like without these things, we can still be able to tell a story, whether it's in like low resolution, whether it's like not in the best audio, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's like we're not able to use acrylics and we're able to use just normal paint. It doesn't really matter.
It shouldn't limit the art coming out.
You get what I'm saying? It shouldn't really
that
matter.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I mean,
everyone has to start from somewhere.
We started in like a room where we could all reach each other.
Yeah.
And then we were in Niati, shout out to Niati.
Yeah, that did Felix.
And now we're in the Tribe Studios.
But now see, here we are. We are landlords by proxy.
Skyline Media, what's?
Yeah, and it's these forms of growth that really inspire the rest of the industry, because I believe even us were inspired by things that we saw people like Tribe UG doing. You know what I'm saying? Because these are things that sometimes you think about and you're like, how do I even start? Where do I start from? And then someone is like, yo, there's the MTN Hip Hop Awards and they're being done by Skyline Media and the Tribe UG, and you're like, oh wow, let me go and attend. And then you're like, yo man, there's always a place you can start from. And so you just get to start, but it's not always gonna look pretty from when you start. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So may I appeal to the youths out there? I don't know which camera I should be looking at. The middle one? That one. May I appeal to the youths out
Guys,
there?
we have more than one camera.
More importantly.
We've got cameras in different areas.
So my appeal to the youths out there is, if you really want to start something, do not wait for money, do not wait for sponsorships, do not wait for anything to sound right or to seem right. Do not wait for the right weather, right conditions. Do not wait for a better producer situation. Just start. Just start. Do not wait for a situation to like organize itself.
Pastor Denesi up in here.
Just start.
Yes,
So
sir.
one thing I've always wondered, with collectives, like, because I refer to Bantu Vibes as a collective of artists, collective of musicians and, you know, rappers and whatever. And we've seen some really great talent come out of that collective. People like Cohen, people like Akine. What's the balance? So now, for example, Cohen has blown up. You have blown up in your own right? And then people now identify and know who Cohen is, but Cohen is still part of a collective. So in situations where the artist grows beyond the collective, then how does that normally work, and like, what does that do for the collective as a whole, in your experience?
I feel like one thing that people have to understand with everyone that has worked with us, whether it's the painters, the artists, the musicians, the producers, the videographers, like all the people that have worked with us, the DJs, it's important for people to understand that these are all people who decided to work with the collective because they believed in the vision. And they believed that through the vision, they could also reach very, very high places and essentially be able to help other people reach the same place as well. So if we look at someone like DJ Boogie, starting out with Bantu Vibes.
You must be listening to him.
You must be listening to him. If I look at someone like that and where they're able to reach in their career, they're still able to come and help out other DJs and come and perform much smaller events.
Or give them opportunities.
Yeah, sometimes they'll come and do events even for free or even for very small fee, just to be able to empower other people to rise up to that position. You look at people like Axon, who when he started with us, also the same thing. Where he's reached right now is a very big place. He's still able to still come back and be a part of that vision and help the younger creatives to grow.
That's good.
Because the whole point is you get somewhere and then you just bring other people with you as well. And it's not even looked at as that's what I was telling you about the confidence that comes with understanding who you are and where you want to go. You get to understand that there's an abundance and an infinite space for everyone to exist. You're not looking at it from this place of scarcity. Because when someone else tells your story and they're like, yo, you guys were colonized and you broke and you were ignorant and you didn't have all these things, then you think of where you're coming from as this place that's so limited and scarce. But then when you get to understand it on your own, and then your perception changes and you're like, well, from this place that has all these natural resources and it has an abundance of land and sunshine and the people are beautiful and the people all have like very creative differences, then you're able to like understand that, you know what, we can all coexist in this space and we can coexist in a very beautiful way without anyone rubbing shoulders with anyone. And when we look at the industry and still find all this anger and people trying to like fight against each other, I feel like it's because they do not have that sense of identity to really understand who they are and what they're doing, where they're doing. It's like you just bumped into the thing. Good day, movie couple.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
feel like
very
the quotables
positive way.
today.
Yeah, that's such
Yeah.
a positive way to look at coexistence and the space that we're in. Like, opportunities are abundant for everyone, and
Yeah.
so there shouldn't be. Let's not fight. Let's work together. I
Yeah.
really like
in
that.
a rare moment where Ian spoke wisely on the podcast many seasons ago, there's a time where Ian says, "Yeah, a lot of times people are thinking, this is the pie, that is the industry, and this is my 5%." And then they're really fighting to defend their 5%, and they don't want to help
Bomboclat.
others.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, like, what Ian then says is like, people forget that if you grow this pie and you still have 5%, but your 5% is now 5% of a bigger pie. And if you keep growing it, it's like that. You're growing with the people that are growing around you. But if you limit it to you and your, that kind of 5% of the original pie, then it's at a certain point it's no longer enough. Yeah, so that is why people have to understand that growth mentality and that togetherness mentality that coexistence, that bring the next guy up mentality, and it's a great way you've put that. I think that was.
But also, I think just to re-echo what he said, I think as creatives or as people generally, we need to be comfortable with people, for example, outgrowing you as just because just because I helped you as a when you were starting out as a photographer or as a rapper or whatever, I shouldn't get mad when you, for example, maybe play at bigger stages than me. Like that would actually make me feel good. If you worked on like bigger assignments than the ones that I've worked on. So I feel like people should be very comfortable, first of all, with allowing that people at some point people are going to outgrow you. Like they're going to, you told me this, you told me that, but at some point I'm going to outgrow you. You should be comfortable. I can be bigger than you, and it should be okay. You should be okay with that.
No, I put you where you are. No, but I get that. I mean, we should be more supportive than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more important than that business of you taught me, yes, but maybe now I'm better than you.
And the
So
student
allow
becomes
it.
the teacher.
Yeah,
That should be kawa.
And I mean, that should show that whatever you have going
You
on
and you
works.
did well.
You did really well.
Yeah.
That's so true.
We're talking in this conversation of growth, and Denesi mentioned the vision for like the collectives and the groups and the things like that. What do you see in terms of like how do you think we can scale things like this, like us being here on the Tribe UG and you with the Bantu Vibes situation? How do we scale something like that to even cross the borders in a sense of our work can maybe be done even in Kenya, even in TZ, even in Rwanda? Like how do you think people can scale? This is for others that are also there that have such ideas of scaling beyond borders. Like how do you think the growth can work in that direction? Or do you think it's also okay for the growth to be targeted, to be
Let me tell you, I feel like that's such a controversial question. You're trying to set me up, bro.
No, it's not.
Let me tell you,
Do it. Do it.
because I've had this argument with both you and your bro about this particular situation.
Well.
No, because my first perspective on this whole situation is always going to be about sound, identity, and it's always going to be about the fact that when I said earlier that when we listen to South African music, we know it's mostly Amapiano music. And when we listen to Nigerian music, I'm always going to say that Uganda does not have a sound of its own. Okay, we do have a bunch of tribes of the Buganda sound, and it's very beautiful. We have the Chiga sound, it's very beautiful. We have the Northern Uganda sound, we have the Imbalu from the Eastern Uganda. And when you go into like these different regions, the sounds are like reiterated in very different ways, but still very similar. And from my study of culture, there's no way that people are going to identify sound as coming from a region unless it's very authentic to that region. Like when you hear dancehall music, whether we've done a dancehall, Chidongo, BT, and UG, it's always going to be traced back to Jamaica, whether we want that or not. So there's no way we can make reggae music our own thing. It's impossible because it's always going to show that it goes back that side. I mean, we could tweak it any way we want, but it's always going to lead back to Peter Tosh. You get what I'm saying? No one can take that away from them. It's like us trying to tweak, or how the Nigerians have tried to tweak Amapiano. It always leads back to the Amapiano.
South Africans.
Yeah, to the South African guys.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah, that's why I said it's controversial.
Yes, controversial. Yes, well, controversial might be the word because for me, and this is a question I've asked before, is it necessary for us to have a quote unquote Ugandan sound, right? Because in a lot of situations, the stage we're trying to play on, because we're trying to go beyond just Uganda, right?
Yeah.
You see how Afrobeat and Amapiano have gone to an international stage, right?
Yeah.
But the audience we're trying to target, which is that bigger market, I don't think they give a shit about whether this is Amapiano or this is, you know what I mean? It's like,
but they really do.
You think so?
Yeah,
I feel like for them, everything is Amapiano or everything is Afrobeat.
No,
you know what I
it's
mean?
African.
As long as the sound is from Africa, they're like, oh, that's that Afrobeat stuff. For them, they don't have that identification to say, oh no, Afrobeat or no Amapiano. You know what I mean?
I'm just lucky called white people racist, fam.
Wow.
No, Makula, was I with you?
You are not with me.
No, hold on.
You're not part of this convo.
Hold on. I don't know if I was with you when we were at the corner sometime and we're watching like a Korean movie and someone was like, all these niggas look the same.
Let me keep my comments, but I said,
Or it's like when someone says black panther, like, well, all these black people look the same.
but that's what I'm saying. And again, it kind of speaks to what I'm trying to say. Isn't good music good music? Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless of, and like, for me, I'm always of the view that I don't want to limit Ugandans and the music they're making to it being a specific sound. You get what I mean? Because they're artists.
Let me show you why it's different, yeah? When I look at, for example, the Afrobeat, the reason I'm saying like it trickles down all the way to the ordinary day person in Nigeria is first of all, it's going to introduce you to pidgin.
Okay, yes.
So Afrobeat is typically going to introduce you to pidgin. That's language.
Yes.
Then it's going to introduce you to the food they eat. That's how we know about egusi
Jollof
and
rice.
jollof rice
and whatever,
and all these other
yes.
things, right?
Yeah.
Then it's typically going to introduce you to the way they dress in their bitenjis and the way that they do this and the capes and stuff. It's typically going to introduce you to the tribes that they have. People know about the Yorubas and all these things and all this what. It's going to introduce you to so many aspects that as a Ugandan Afrobeat maker, you cannot actually represent any of those things. So if they call you for like an interview on like Hot Ones, for example, it's a YouTube thing and it's like international. And they're like, okay, we've brought for you 2 types of rice. Which is Ghanaian jollof and which is Nigerian jollof? Tell us, my brother. And you do not
You won't
know.
be able to tell.
Because it's not who you are. So I'm not saying you cannot like get the sound and do well with it.
Yeah.
You could actually do a beautiful song on an Afrobeat. What I'm just saying is that culturally it does not represent you as a Ugandan. You get what I'm saying? And
I
then
hear you,
if I
but
play
I
Amapiano
still-
as well, it has very many aspects, whether it's the dance, whether it's the dressing, whether it's the lingo that they use, a lot of things that are going to represent someone who's typically from South Africa. And that's why South Africa, even when you try to copy it, their log drums are there. The log drum is there for a specific reason, because it's authentic to the South African traditional sound, where the whole sound came from. I haven't studied Amapiano that much to actually know about all these things, but one of your conversation with one of my cousins the other day was telling us about the lingo and all these things, who had stayed in South Africa for some time, and he had a lot of things to say about Afrobeat, Amapiano and how it evolved from Afro House and the Quaitos and all these things. And now DJs like the Black Coffees and who can now get to do the biggest festivals in the world, the Cubs at the Smalls and all these things. You don't typically find Nigerian DJs get booked around the world. But Amapiano DJs get booked around the world, from the Uncle Waffles to who. So in their genre, the DJs are becoming more famous because typically their genre doesn't have a lot of words attached to it. It's mostly
just sound,
DJs
yeah. It's
and
unts,
sounds.
unts.
Yeah, so there's a reason why
8 minute
from South
instrumentals.
Africa. So it's not by flow, it's by design that someone will typically book a South African DJ and then typically book a Nigerian artist. That's by design because of the way the culture is representing them and the way they're representing their culture as well. So if it's a Ugandan thing, there are very many things that are unique to Ugandans. Very many things that are unique to Ugandans. For me, when I talk about my tribe, for example, the dancing style for the Chigezi music, yeah, it's called Chizino, yeah. But then the Wanyankole have their own word for it as well, where they slow down the tempo a bit. It's the same exact stuff, yeah. The reason why we stamp our feet very hard as Bachiga people is when you're trying to get married, you have to show a sign of strength. You have to stamp on the feet. The stronger guy who can make the ground vibrate is the one who take the woman.
Big vibration.
You get what I'm
Bantu
saying?
vibes.
So that's why I represent that big energy. You get what I'm saying? You get. But then the Banyankole always believe themselves to be like much more calmer and less aggressive than us. So that's why the Chitaguro dance is like a lot more calm. It's not like the one for showing energy. You get what I'm saying? So
It's more laid back.
yeah, and then the Bachiga were drinkers, very heavy drinkers.
What?
So I
Out here pastels.
me personally,
Okay.
no, but I'm talking about the time from when the sound was created.
Yeah.
So they'll get the thing they're drinking the liquor with and turn it into a shaker where they do that thing. So that's how it's there. So all these things, the things they tie around their legs, all these things are very symbolic. Or how these guys have cattle and they're doing the longhorn dance to represent the longhorns of the cattle. All these things are very symbolic. The dressing, the what, the languages that are being used, the slang, the what, the food that's being eaten. So if, for example, we knew if you guys have gone for Chiga Nation, you find them still serving the liquor in those calabashes and stuff. So my whole point is, once you're creating a sound, it's not just going to be a sound, because the sound is supposed to represent different ways of life.
Yeah.
And then these ways of life just naturally represent the area that you're from. Because if I'm going to start speaking some of your slang, they're going to start doing some of your dressing. You're going to find some of these foods becoming delicacies in different parts of the world. So with just that sound alone, you're creating a whole way of life for someone who has never met you. That's how someone from Uganda can listen to a drill song and end up wearing the big baggy roadman jackets and start speaking their slang. Are you saying, man,
Yeah,
you get me, fam? You get it?
Ops fam.
And and this is all just from listening to a drill beat that's like tss, 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 and they're listening to that and they're doing all these other things that you're like, bruv, I thought you're just listening to a song. But then it's not just a song.
Okay.
Because there's so many things that's why we're like, even if we keep doing all these other people's sounds, we're just going to add to what they're doing because it shows how much influence they have over us.
Yeah.
But then how much influence can we have over the rest of Africa and the rest of the world? That's through our own
I think
authentic
it's more
identity.
a case of we're not tapping into our identity and like the things that we have at our disposal as much.
That's where my whole conversation started from, the role of these platforms.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if we don't understand that, then we're always going to think that just because a Ugandan is sitting on an instrument, it's a Ugandan song. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how Ugandans usually feel. That's how they usually counter the argument. But I'm like, nah, bro. If you know where you're from and how much detail and complexity went into creating the cultures that your people grew up in, then you'd know how beautiful it is and how much more beautiful it would be if other people start to experience it.
But don't you worry that a lot like as the generations keep growing, more people are further and further detached from their cultures and from, that's like.
I feel like
Very
culture
less
is an
people
ever-evolving thing, though.
But also like the if we go back to the real authentic, let's say Chiganda culture or Chinyankore culture or whatever, I feel like a lot more young people either can't even speak the language, and it's okay. I mean, it happens. I'm not, I can't say I speak a lot of my languages very well, but like doesn't
Languages? You have more than one?
Yes.
How many do you have?
Let me tell you, me, I'm a Ugandan. Whenever you want to know, Damali what? Ugandan. End of story.
All right.
So, like, I feel like as the Ugandan, as generations keep going, don't you feel like we sort of detach ourselves further and further from, which I guess is your point. Like, through the music, through that, then we shall get more people to know and learn their culture and appreciate their culture and be proud of it.
But then the other thing about culture is that it has to continuously evolve through the generations. So, like, for example, if you look at the Egyptian story of, I don't know if you guys have heard about Isis, Osiris, and all these other people.
In brief, yes. But clearly, you know a lot more than we do.
No, the whole gist of that Egyptian mythology is to tell people that when Osiris was there, he was like the predominant guy, and he was the king. Then, what was the name of his son? he had a
I don't know.
Anyway, he had a son, and I'm forgetting the name of the son, but the son came in, and because there was this guy called Seth, who was Osiris' brother, who destroyed him and then buried his body all over underground and everything. So when they had a son, that son had to literally go and resurrect the father and find a way of combining with him to keep him alive, which was like a symbolism to show that for culture to continue
They're
existing, it has to be updated by the younger people. So the role of the younger generation,
Is
the young
actually
generation
to-
plays is to update the culture. Our role is not to come and take on the culture the way it is, because that culture already has flaws. The belief systems have flaws. For example, if your culture believed 30 years ago that a woman like Damali should get married at 16 years old, when you come in a new generation... No, listen, guys, listen. When the new generation comes in, it's going to believe that, wait, man, I think 16 is too young.
Yeah.
Right? This person
Yeah.
needs to be learning and growing.
Yeah.
And maybe, okay, let's now put the limit at 21. Right? And then the new generation is going to come like, your 21 is still too young. Let's put it at 27. You get what I'm saying? So ultimately, these small updatings of the culture where someone believes, man, education is not important. These other guys are like, man, guys are too dumb here. Let's do what? Let's make education a thing. Kids should start studying from this age and this and this and this.
Yeah.
So that our role even now for our cultures is to update it. Whether we find ways of updating the languages with our own ways that make it fun to
Our
speak.
interpretation of it.
You get
Okay.
our own forms of slang and all these other things. That's cool. The sound itself, there's no way I'm going to sing on a Chiga beat the way it is, fam. I want to come and enhance it. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to add in some more flavor, some more spice. I want to give it a new feeling, a new excitement, to modernize it. Because even if you hear where the Afrobeats came from when Fela Kuti played them to where they are today, Fela Kuti had a band of over 30 people on stage.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So today, it's a beautiful instrument that sounds like it didn't even have 20 instruments or 10 instruments. It's just, they sound just so beautiful and so calm. So the role of the young people is to update culture. So I don't think culture can ever die. It can only ever get updated.
It just
But there's
keeps evolving.
Yeah, there's a question of, does it evolve in the direction that you want it to evolve? That's another
That's
question,
another
maybe.
No, you mentioned the Chiga beat thing and saying how you'd want to update it and something like that, and it reminded me of something when we were with producer Hassan at Wake's concert, and he talked about how he was producing his album Moti, where he went to the British Museum of Sounds or something like that, and he got the sounds of his people of the Bagwere, the recorded sounds of way back, and then he'll get this one, tweaks it to make the beat for this song. Gets this group of
That's smart.
of the guys way back saying tweaks it to make this song with.
I mean,
samples.
Navio famously
That
did
was
this
so
with the
dope.
Buganda sound.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Navio's songs that he has done with the Buganda sound for this, and now he has tried to update it.
Yes, shout out Navio. Hi, friend. The first time I heard Nauliranga, I was so happy.
Yo,
Like,
we were all
it
happy,
gave me
fam.
so much joy.
We were all very
To date,
happy.
it's still one of my favorite ones.
And my only wish is that Navio could actually push the envelope with that whole thing he's trying to do and go even further and further and further with it and get a lot more people in the hip-hop industry to do that and the mainstream. I mean, most recently, Elijah Chitaka has done a Change,
Yeah.
which is also like an iteration of the Buganda sound.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is not far-fetched for us to think that,
We're overthinking it.
that, the people outside here, and yet as we have such a richness of tribes, we can actually create more than one sound. We can create more than one sound with a lot of things attached to that sound, whether it's like the foods and the behaviors and the this. So it could be that one nation that's very small, creating like Amapiano, Afrobeat, what. We have like 7 genres
You were
coming
like,
out
buy
of
one,
one
get one
country. You get what? Buy one, get 6 free, bro.
Yeah, I guess
So-
also the diversity of our cultures is a good thing.
Yeah,
that we need
I'm
to
sure
play
Uganda still
into.
has one of the most tribes in the whole world
Yes.
as a country. So that's just speaks.
Probably.
It speaks to the richness of the country we're from. We're very, very rich
Minister of
people.
Minister of Abundance.
Well done.
The abundance, guys. The abundance.
Well done.
God said, "Let there be abundance in Uganda."
Oh, yeah,
And there it
to a
was.
different type of minister.
I like
And
that.
there it
I like
was.
that. I mean,
Praise
for the
God.
first time that argument for me, you
God.
have convinced me.
Yeah.
You
No,
have
I'm
because
glad.
I've always been against like, why do we need a Ugandan sound? We just need good music. But like, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Nice.
Today there's been wisdom, there's been English and an abundance of knowledge
Yeah.
shared.
What are you trying to say about every day?
No,
So
Every day you want wine. But I want to ask you something. There's a conversation we once had, I think, Damzi, when we were at Akine's press play, when we were shooting. We had a conversation with Denesi, and we were talking a lot about
some of the challenges.
the challenges, yes.
In the industry.
Yes, you see, there's the challenges. I don't want us to get into the ones that people have complained about. I tell this is not happening. I tell this is not happening my way. This one is going. I want to ask about one in particular. I want to go straight to it's a buy one get one free. I want to go straight to mental health and drugs and how they affect artists, because you know a lot of things that happen in artists' life behind the scenes.
Yeah.
As a fan, who unless you're Makobi, who Akine said hi to him, but the other fan who doesn't get that high, they don't know what's happening, so they're wondering, where's my guy? This song is not coming. So without
But
necessarily,
even beyond just that, you've
Yeah.
seen, I won't name names, but we've seen public crash outs.
yes,
Yeah.
You know,
many
of
times.
artists and stuff like that. And some of these stories are not necessarily hidden, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that has stood out a lot is, especially in the younger generation, quote unquote, there's a lot of indulgence in
Yeah.
recreational drugs, and that's becoming, I think, a bit of an issue. And there's a lot of mental health issues. I mean, we're more aware now of our mental health and, you know, trauma and anxiety and all those other buzzwords. I respect them, but sometimes they're buzzwords. So that's something we really want to talk about, because, like, how is that becoming an issue? Because I have seen it be an issue with some artists that I know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have better access in terms of those circles. But, like, do you believe that that's becoming a really big issue?
You know what, yeah? I honestly believe so very much. Actually, yeah, it's good that you asked that question on the same side as mental health, because I feel like both issues coincide very much.
Yeah.
And this is how, like, I'm going to sum it in one word, yeah? I'm going to sum it in the word hedonism.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that
Kamanyi,
word.
excuse me, sir. Please, we're gonna put a definition.
Yeah, but no. The easiest way I could explain it to people who are watching is like, it's just being entirely controlled by whatever you're craving, by your desires. And you know, life is just about pleasure. Because you know, there's this belief by people who believe very much in this whole hedonistic tendencies, that the ultimate good in this life is just pleasure, and the ultimate bad is just when you're not feeling kawa. So as long as you're not feeling kawa, people don't understand the value of like pursuing something and being bored through it and getting nagged and getting tired, and you know,
can't
having
stand being
yeah,
bored
they
or,
can
like, good.
yo,
Yeah.
as long as you don't feel good, this is not kawa.
Yeah.
As long as I feel good, this is all right. And I feel like people descend into this place when mental health is at an all-time low.
Yeah.
Because if you guys know about Carl Jung, if you guys know, because every time I mention Carl Jung's name, people laugh at me. But Carl Jung is one of those psychologists that defined the human psyche as having the light and the shadow,
Okay.
right? And the light side of the psyche is where you're essentially trying to reach for your higher self, and you're trying to be the best version of yourself. And as such, you're making all the essential sacrifices to become the best version of who you are. But then the shadow self is when the traumas and everything has really like gotten a hold of you,
Yeah.
and you've chosen to like sort of be a victim to it, and now you're just pursuing everything that destroys you. And so it's where like self-destructive tendencies come alive. It's where gossiping comes alive. It's where complaining comes alive. It's where, like you said, buzzwords, anxiety come alive. It's where you go to die, basically. You know what I'm saying. And there's this mythology about like trying to find the holy grail, which is like the thing that reveals your highest potential. And they said that when soldiers were going in the forest to look for it, they would all go in the forest at the point which looks darkest to them, which basically meant that you're trying to do things that are hardest to do. You know, you're going to where you feel most challenged. And people don't understand that discomfort is where essentially you grow from. But for me to say this and connect it to the creative industry, I feel like people just want what feels good, and a lot of the times having a banger feels good, right?
Yeah.
Having a banger feels good. Going out and everyone is like, yo, man, I love your song. What? I love this and this. I love what you're doing. I love your latest video. Those things feel good, right? But then there reaches a time when people just feed off that and only that. And when that's not there anymore, because maybe let's say you've had like a bad year, and no one is
the
like,
next jam is not a banger.
Yeah, the next jam is not like that. Then you're like, nah, man, I need that dopamine feeling. You need. So now you just go to this other place where you're gonna get that for free, without any trying, without you having to go to a studio, without you having to go to Hassan to shoot for your video, without you having to do anything. And I feel like that's how the creative industry goes down, because most of his behaviors are really never there with the artists who are just starting, right? They're there with the artists who have felt the high that comes with recognition and having all this art that actually, for things when things actually work out. So I feel like that's the bad side of when things begin to work out.
Okay.
Because from my observation is, things begin to work out, then you have a lot of highs. You want to go out all the time because you know you're going to find all this recognition that maybe you didn't even get from your home or your school. No, I'm saying this because these are actual things, you know. I know, for example, I know people who are like, man, at school everyone used to laugh at me, and now those same guys are coming to tell me how they like my song. Man, those guys are not real. And I'm like, they're actually real. They like your song.
Yes, your song is why they like you now. Back then you
had nothing to like about you, maybe.
So you think? So do you think the fans fuel for this to happen as well? Because
the fans are just fangirling and fanboying and doing what they're doing. Yeah,
the fans are fans of your art.
No,
what you do with that feeling is your responsibility.
Exactly.
No.
Finish your question.
I cannot. I'm serious.
Apologies.
But I agree with you, Dams, very much.
Okay, now I'm scared to ask. But like I was saying, no, I asked because in maybe like 4 or 5 years back, so I have a brother who's an audio producer. Yeah, he does he used to do music. I don't know if he does it now, but he used to do jingles, like radio jingles and stuff like that and whatnot. So there's this time where I think they were supposed to release ads for a campaign or something like that. But then around the same time, we lost a relative. We lost my aunt, so we had to go for burial and stuff. And then I think his boss called him and was asking him about the work. And then he was telling the boss, I'm still at a burial, and told him all these things and stuff like that. After him saying all this stuff, the next question the other guy asked was,
so when are you coming?
So when are you sending the work?
Like thanks, but
So in that light, do you feel like that as well pushes?
We don't give them grace. Is that what you're trying to say? The fans
like
don't give grace
to most of these guys.
So I feel like that situation is slightly different because in this case, your brother had an opportunity to say what was going on. For most of us as a fans, it's not that we don't care what's going on, but we're not privy to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I don't think artists go and start saying, oh my God, they've dumped me, I'm going through it. Or you know what I mean? Like, we're not privy to those struggles. And that's the unfair bit about it. Like, when someone starts to get into like a limelight and whatever, like, expectations are high and you're not going to explain yourself to everybody. That's why I say I can't blame the fans. The responsibility is on you to like, you control your environment, you guard yourself. And like, if you say I need to take a break, let me take a break. But like, the pressure from the fans, I don't feel should ever be an excuse.
You know what, the best example I could give you, because if you're trying to compare like what you said, an artist being in the limelight to like what you said, like a guy in the corporate world, you said he's an audio guy?
Yeah.
Okay, let's compare it to a guy who is in the corporate world, right? Usually what happens is you find a guy in the corporate world who is able to wake up early morning, go to work every day and doing the inner work, and he's trying to build relationships, a humble guy. As soon as they make big money, as soon as they get a big promotion, because in the capitalism world, people usually have this belief that the only flaw I have with me is that innocent. You get, because they perceive everything else as this like Makula like saying a nothing situation. Like it's not that important. Because you know you've seen this discourse where guys are like, man, Kampala women just don't like you because you don't have money. And then you're not having your best life because you don't have money. And then you're not doing this and this because you don't have money. So you have people who genuinely believe that the only flaw with me right now is I don't have money. Yeah. And so once they get that money, they believe they're complete. That now I am I'm fully well and good. Yeah. I am kawa. I am better than every human being. No one can tell me anything. Like Kanye West said, don't talk to me if you're broker than me. I can't listen to advice from nobody broker than me. Like you get that whole perspective where you feel like
I've arrived. Yes.
And only the people who are richer than me
Can talk to me.
can talk to me. And that's where corporate people go to die.
That's
Where
their
corporate
shadow.
people go to die. That's it.
Shaking
Because
table.
Damn, too soon.
that's where corporate people go to die. Because at that moment, you find that guys sometimes are even cutting off their broke friends who might even be their most honest friends at the time.
Yeah.
And then realigning with people who can all do barbecues in their yard. And then and then guys are like, man, like everyone starts realigning their life to fit that newfound kamanye.
Yeah.
And then you find that 3 years, 4 years down the line, they're telling us, man, you guys, money doesn't bring happiness, what? And they're giving us all these quotables on Twitter that we did not ask for. Buzzwords. So now you've discovered money doesn't buy happiness. 4 years into having the money and having no real friends and being miserably depressed while you're still having your money on you. So that happens a lot. And that's the comparison I would say with the music industry, or the industry just brings you popularity and fame and recognition and all these other things.
When you start speaking of yourself in third person, I'll never forgive that person. Man says, what? Shut up.
Because the same way the corporate world heals that thing that you feel like was lacking from your sense of self of having no money. That's the same way this whole popularity heals that sense of self of feeling like you had no recognition, like people weren't seeing you. Yeah. And so when you feel like people are seeing you, or you feel like, okay, there's this money, you never want that feeling to go away, because it becomes the drug until it's not there.
Then you have to find an alternative.
Then you find an alternative, or it's still there, but you need more of it because you just can't live without
human
it.
Nature, yeah.
Because even as soon as you just enter the toilet, take a shit 5 minutes, and there's no one seeing you, you're like, no way, no one is seeing
what
me.
What an unattended shit.
Yeah, man.
Mark, do you think money brings happiness though?
You must bring it. I'll tell you.
Do you think fame and popularity bring happiness?
Ask me, please, if money brings
Does money bring happiness?
Absolutely.
Right?
I can buy filet mignon with a side of pepper sauce.
I feel like money brings convenience, though.
That too.
I'm happy when things are convenient.
Yeah, but then you see, that's the thing.
Yeah, it's not an absolute.
It's not an absolute.
Our other problem is thinking that life is about happiness, though. Because
Makobi, you don't seem to agree highly.
you think life is about happiness?
Yeah.
Why? This is the hedonism I was telling
don't
you guys
think.
about. Because why do you need to be happy from morning to evening? Sometimes, if your work person has told you we need this project to be done in the next 2 days, there's nothing happy about that. But it's gonna make you much more effective at what you do. It's gonna put food on your table at the end of the day. It's not a happy scenario.
My view of happiness is very different. I don't think happiness is an every time thing.
Yeah, it's not an every time thing.
So for people who think they're going to be happy all the time,
it can't be.
No, I don't think you're always going to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
Because but happiness is
you have a kid, right?
yes, I do.
And you love the kid very much.
Very much.
You cannot tell me that from when you produce the kid and going through all those moments of the kid is like young, crying overnight, shitting in the diapers and everything. That's not happy things.
No, it has no. I can't say for
it's
sure.
Because of the love that you're willing to make whatever sacrifice is needed. And those are not things that necessarily lead to happiness, but they lead to a sense of fulfillment at the end of the day, of knowing that I have someone who I genuinely feel like I need to take care of and I love very much. Because love is not happiness. Because even anyone in a relationship will tell you that. Love is consistently trying to work through things. You know what I'm saying?
Our love ambassador over there in the corner. Because on these ends,
Unless all you do is have sex. Unless you guys just pound yourselves for 24/7, you cannot tell me that it's just about
No, I agree. I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because even you can do that.
He's like, challenge accepted. Anyway, There's somewhere where Denesi said something about the light and like positive energy, and also has been saying that like starting something and things fall into place.
Yeah.
I want to tell people of Denesi's latest music video, On the Move.
Whenever Mark starts talking, I never know what's coming. But okay. Otherwise, just like,
No.
where are we
Brace
going?
yourself.
We're going somewhere. On the Move video, I need to tell you of how great video, great song, first song on his album, and it's a good time, it's a good vibe. But what I like about that, and what I want to bring to that with some of the things you've said, is how he literally was on the move through the universe, and a lot of unplanned things fell into place in that video, and a lot of, like bumping into, like the guy with the car. Like the car, there's a guy who...
The supercar.
The supercar, man. Like, Dennis is like, I need a scene here. Some guy appears with his car. It's like, yeah, you want to? Immediately. Or then we enter Forest Mall and there are these kids buying food and they said, Big Denesi, big. And that, just like that, there's a whole scene with them as well. And then we enter this side and we find like Shari and them. And like a lot of things just kept happening along the way, and I've never seen anything like that. Just going out into the universe, and the things are just the pieces. But
you realize how all this started with us being chased away at the petrol station. So it's like it had this moment of like we're gonna get in your way, and then if you can maintain a positive attitude and try to go for it regardless, then the world is gonna start opening up. And sometimes people just never know that about life. That it's gonna throw at you a couple of messed up things, but you keep going. So anyway, back to the mental health situation I was saying, because I didn't even go into the conversation.
You digressed
He
so
told us about these philosophers, about...
No, because I was trying for the listeners who may not understand what creatives go through, I was just trying to give you like an understanding of that situation.
Yeah.
And and the other reason I was saying that is because I've seen a lot of people throw away very promising careers just to be around someone who can give them some free drugs. You know what I'm saying? If someone can wake up every morning and just pull up to that house and they're gonna get like free weed, free this, free liquor, free that, free what, they're gonna be there every day for like 5 years until their career is nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
And we've seen that happen countless times. I mean, every
And
time you
addiction
go,
is real. Like,
Yeah,
guys
man.
just think, just one small line. No, addiction is actually real, and it's a big issue.
yeah, and the problem is that there's a lot of like self-justification when you find people who are deeply into it. They always have a plan of how they're gonna come out, which never materializes. There's always a lot of things that are just wrong, and for me personally, I'm just trying to appeal to all my fellow creatives out there. The middle camera, guys. There are more
One of
cameras.
many. One of many.
I'm just trying to appeal to my creatives out there that, man, it's better if we all pursue a sense of purpose, if we all pursue actual targets, quarterly targets, yearly targets, and all these things, because these things are what are actually going to eventually feed the family, put food on the table, and create legacies, and working together, collaboration, whatnot, and not trying to chase these superficial feelings of recognition, of popularity, of good feels in the body and in the mind all the time, dopamine rushes. We don't need to chase these things because these things are very hopeless and very useless and very time consuming, and at the same time
Okay.
because let me tell you, for example,
Yeah.
a lot of people think these things are just like about drug abuse, but I know people who will just meet together and just gossip. And why people do not know that this is dangerous, is if I meet Damze today and we gossip about people with all the negative perspectives, we're not going to be able to have a heart that wants to work with these people. A heart that wants to maybe look beyond their flaws and find something good about them. Right? Because we're discussing everything that we think is wrong and even cooking up more things that we think are wrong. And so,
and making assumptions.
so eventually that affects how you consciously approach a situation when you meet the person.
If we're
that's
gossiping
true.
about good stuff, though, does that make it?
Which good stuff?
That's
is there
not
to gossip
gossiping,
about?
bro.
Oh, gisting.
Okay, discussing.
Discussing, Look at this,
Yeah.
Gossiping is if you imagine a situation where if two demons were to meet and have a conversation, what would they have? They would just gossip.
So,
You get?
so wherever
So you
Ian and
demons
Felix
out
are,
there. You demons out there.
You
Stop
get
it.
it? And that's just as bad because you see the thing about that is it gives you this feeling of you're better than everyone you're talking about. And so you can get a high from that for days on end. And then take a whole year where we're just meeting up every day to
So
just
gossip.
talk shit.
Guys,
You
mind
get what
your
I'm
business.
saying?
Mind your business.
To cut word.
As I always say, hydrate, stay in your lane, and mind your.
So instead of people meeting and say, let's discuss ideas,
Yeah.
let's discuss how to bring this thing forward. There's a lot
Did
of
you
flaws
see
happening
Makobi
in
short
the
shots in
industry.
the gym?
You get what I'm saying? Yeah, man. This is what I'm dealing with, but we can do this better. Oh, man, did you hear this person's new song? I think we can improve this. I think we could work
Yeah,
on
what
their
did you
thing
learn
and then
from
do
that?
that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So,
So sorry to cut you short, but just as a follow up to what you're talking about, addictions and stuff.
yeah.
I just need to ask this, and I mean, you don't have to answer it if you're not comfortable with it or whatever. But I need to ask, as an artist, as a creative, are there any addictions that you've struggled with? You don't have to tell us what, but are there any addictions that you've struggled with, and how have you been able to deal with that and get yourself out of that?
Man, my first addiction I suffered with was over smiling. I used to smile more, babe.
Wow.
And you guys, I need you to, guys, hold on. Hold on. I need you guys to look deeper into it, yeah? That's essentially a people-pleasing problem, right? So, and my problem...
emoji.
I like that. No, but that was essentially a people-pleasing problem. And what that leads to is that sometimes you get manipulated, misused, you get maybe stepped on, disrespected, and things like that. And once you learn to speak up for yourself, sometimes you realize there's nothing sweet here. Man. We don't need to be smiling. We don't need to
You
be
move around
smiling.
annoyed? What is it?
Yeah. No, not to move around annoyed,
Yeah.
but to represent yourself authentically to
smile
how
anyhow.
you feel. Yeah, like
not okay
if I'm
today?
not happy right now and I need to tell you that you've just done something that makes me uncomfortable, I want to cut my smile off my face and be like, do not do that thing again, because if you do it again, we're gonna have a problem.
Must
You
just
know
have
what
a
I'm
problem
saying?
with happiness.
Now you see where it started. That's profound.
Yo, no, let me tell you, man, the way that your childhood can come back to haunt you as an adult
Yeah.
is always in the most weird ways that you never expect. And yeah, man. So I feel like for me personally, growing up in a household whereby you had to always say what people want to hear.
Ah.
You get what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
You grew up into a situation whereby
You end up
now
being a
you've just
people
crammed up to
pleaser.
say what people want to hear,
Yeah.
and you sort of end up doing it to even your own detriment. So yeah, hence smiling a lot. Yeah, man. So that was the first one. Because even when I got the knowledge on how to overcome it, it still took me time to just implement it, because it was so much easier to just smile and not create problems. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you don't stop laughing, you guys.
Mine has discredited your addiction. What do you mean? What is the
I'm
smiling?
sorry, that was the first one.
Yeah. After that, one thing that I would say is I got maybe a slate work addiction, which sort of also messed up my relationships.
What?
Work addiction. Like
Okay.
just being a workaholic, feeling like you need to make money and this, and then I look back 2 years
Shaking
later.
tables.
I am, but then also people need to learn. So just looking back at your life 2 years later, and you're like, oh man, I had so many authentic friendships and people who genuinely cared about me and who used to check on me often. And then I realized I haven't made time for any of them for 2 years. I haven't done this. And then you go on Snapchat, because now our era has Snapchat and Instagram. So every time you're on stories,
You
you
see
can
life
see
happening
everyone
without
that
you.
has been your friend from high school. And you're like, wow, these niggas are still alive and we haven't talked. And so you realize that, yeah, man. So for me, just taking relation, and then also people passing away, and then realizing, yo, man, that used to be my very good friend, and then they went through all this and reached the point of even passing away, and we're not even talking.
Yeah.
That stuff really it really hurts you down deep in the soul. So away from that, man, of course, man, the fact that we be in the bars and stuff, you sip a little, drink a little, smoke a
Strange
little.
clouds.
All those things happen. But I feel like I've always had a good hold on all those things, because I'm not someone who wanted to numb myself,
Yeah.
I always try to get into meditative practices, and I always try to just talk about myself with people and talk about whoever I'm dealing with, and just sort of try to find answers to life. So anytime I was about to maybe fall into an abyss, I always had someone around me who cared enough to be like, yo, fam, I feel like you're overdoing this thing, or you need to relax, or you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So essentially, without people around me who care about me genuinely, I would definitely have fallen into some much deeper places.
Okay.
But also, I feel like I've also had the addiction to maybe overthinking. That's a real thing that happened to me that led me to a place of like getting stressed out, depressed, maybe inactive. There's this thing they call functional freeze,
Yeah.
where you're just there and the 30 things you want to do and you can't even get yourself to do any of them. I've genuinely got to that place as well, whereby I had to learn how to calm my mind, think the right thoughts, positive thoughts.
Meditation.
Yeah, because there's when you can wake up in the morning and even just someone breathing next to you of 30 things to complain about. And you're like, fuck. Like there's all this space and you're right here next to me. Like, what are you doing?
Like, why you breathing heavily?
Why
Why are you breathing? Who
You
told
know?
you to breathe? Like, what?
And then you realize that once you can have a hold on your perspectives and you start to pre-abundance, then you get to realize that, you know what, there's always room for patience. There's always room for, positive thought. Not happiness. I'm not going to say happiness. I'm not going to say happiness. But there's always room for you to be able to make at least one more sacrifice to see what happens the next moment. And always, man, it always pays off. It always pays off to think a positive thought when your mind is being taken sabotaged by the spirits, bruv. Yeah, man. Yeah. It came from very far. In the name of Jesus Christ, may my mind always be free from any intrusion and any spirits, because sometimes you just need a peaceful mind to get through this life and to do your best. And to create art, to create meaningful art. Yeah, man.
So we wish everyone peaceful minds.
Yeah.
But now
And don't smile too much.
Don't smile too much.
Don't
man.
overthink.
Never be happy.
Yeah, man.
Don't be happy. What you smiling for?
What do you think you are? Why are you breathing heavily? Anyway, just to turn things down a bit before Dabzi does dangerous things that she sometimes does, I want to first ask you some small, is it this or that? You just
Let's
small
go.
choices for you.
I actually have one question. I won't be on the mic. Don't worry about it. Back then, you used to talk about your worth. You feel like as an artist, you deserve to be paid 5 million. You should demand that price. You've gone through concerts, you've arranged a lot of events.
Yeah.
And what do you feel about your thought back then and what you feel right now about the
Like,
industry?
I think the thought,
All right.
just to echo it, I think it's a quote from a thing we watched together actually way back when. It was, yes, even if you're starting out, you don't have to wait for a banger or anything. If you feel like I'm worth 5M, you ask for your 5M.
All right.
But
You know what, yeah?
Get it also bigger. So can you re-ask the question so that we have it on, or is it off record?
I was just gonna re-echo the question
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So the question that Hassan is asking about whether artists should be able to ask what they feel like their value is, their worth. If it's like 5 million, ask for 5 million. I feel like it's a dope thing to like know your value and try to go for it. What my perspective is now that I've spent a lot of time in the industry is that first and foremost, organizers don't care. They just don't care about you. They're gonna look at what's your
What are you
capacity
bringing?
to
What's the
bring in
value?
people.
Yeah.
Like if you're the only guy I booked today and you've asked me for 5 million, are you gonna pull in people that are gonna bring 5 million? Because what people want is like, it's like an alcohol company giving you a sponsorship and you're like, okay, I want 20 million. And they're like, I'm gonna sell drinks worth 20 million at the thing that you want us to go for. If we're not gonna sell drinks worth 20 million, what do you want 20 million for? If you don't have the capacity to make it. So again, it's the same thing, because even me as an artist, as a person who is an artist and both an organizer and like both sides of the spectrum, there are times you book an artist, right? And they show up alone. And you'd expect their fans who have come to see them, and the guy is seated by himself drinking alcohol. And you're like, okay, fam, it looks like you did not come, you came here alone. It seems like you did not invite anyone. And it seems like no one cared to come and watch you. You get what I'm saying? So that means you also did not advertise.
Yeah. On
Because
your
if you
end,
advertised, then potentially there would be clients of yours, because you have like, let's say 5,000 monthly listeners. Out of 5,000 people, even if we done 80-20, let's say like at least, even if we did, okay, 5%, you advertised very well to your 5,000 audience. At least have 100 guys who were there. So that if you've asked me if I'm charging 10K and you're asking me for 5 million shillings, even if you don't have a hit, I don't care if you have a hit or not.
But can you bring people?
Yeah, can you bring people? So that's why I always, this is all to say that as an artist, if you have a value proposition that you think of yourself, first test it out with yourself. Like, okay, you're an artist, you're a singer, you've been in the industry for 2 years, you have a catalog of maybe 15 songs, 2 EPs, or maybe you have 1 album, 10 songs and 5 singles out. You believe you're worth 2 million shillings. If we're to charge for 10,000, how many people is that to get 2 million? Is that 200 people?
Yeah.
Okay, that's 200 people. Organize the show on your own, right? Go and get a bar. Like, go and get like Tavern Breeze Gardens, Nigeria.
Come on.
Bolavida Road. Off the main of Bogo Road.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a dope ad. Anyway, find a nice place.
Like that one.
Find a dope place. Find a dope place whereby, because I'll tell you this, yeah, if you tell a bar organizer that I can bring people who are going to buy drinks, they're never going to charge you for the venue, right? And typically, most of these places already have sound. So you're not even going to need sound. No one has even asked you for deco, right? Don't even do deco. Just call the people to come and experience your music. Because we have all here been to places with no deco and enjoyed, right? So deco is not the end all of an event. So, okay, you've invited people. If you're able to charge 10K at the gate and get that 2 million that you were talking about, go and charge it to the next show organizer. Go and charge it and be like, fam, I have these 200 people, they will come for anything. So if you're charging 50K, I'm bringing for you 200 people. I need 5 million for my 100 people. You will take the other 5 million. And that's my proposition to you. And if you want, I can even organize a cost and bring all of them for you at once. And they will pay at the gate. You get what I'm saying? But if you're not able, because this is business at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's business. And that's what creatives don't want to think about. They just want to think about making a nice song and the song going viral. We have a lot of artists in this industry who have big hits, but who cannot bring 100 people to a place. And that's because they have not invested time in trying to build audiences and relationships with people and, try to see where and where what. We've seen artists very many times who do big concerts and there's no one who comes. And you ask yourself, how did this guy go to Elugogo or HID or where? And no one came. Like, how? Were you bewitched? Were you what? Like, at least you have like 5 hits. At least 10 people would have been interested. At least 100 people. But these things all happen. And that's why you find that a value proposition is not just about what you think your worth is.
Yeah.
It's about something you've actually tested. Like even any product, any business, before you put something on the market, you have to test it, do research, do this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Don't just come.
Yeah, don't just come. Don't
Make a
just
research.
come. You know?
So in that light as well, I just need to ask this question again. It's a very serious question. So I know you're laughing.
Okay.
Hey, okay.
Cool story, bro.
Anyway, you wear so many hats. There's Denesi, the artist, then the proprietor. Mzungu.
There
English.
we
We can
go.
speak English, guys.
how is
There we go.
Well done.
Anyway, so when you're in your Bivulu promoter era, I just need to ask this. So
Yeah.
do you pay artists 5 million?
Now let me give you an example, yeah? An artist like
Brother,
Joshua
yes, one
Baraka.
question.
No, I have to give context to the answer, right?
Because not everyone.
Yeah. An artist like Joshua Baraka, for example, yeah? He did a show at the Villa where he charged 50K entrance and the whole place got filled out.
Yeah.
So if Baraka is like, yo, bro, I need 5 million, there's no problem with that because he has showed you his ability to make that money by himself, doing all these things.
Yeah.
For example, DJ Alza, I think, charged somewhere at the, what's that place called? Centenary Park, where he did a thing and the place packed out. There are very many examples. So I've done events that have sponsorship where there's a lot of money. So typically when there's a lot of money, I don't even care if the artist is gonna pay back. You've already made the money from the sponsor, right?
Yeah.
And then there are also shows we have organized where we're broke, the artists are broke, there's no money in the industry right now, there's a scarcity of events, and you're like, but we need to make noise, the fans need something. So there you just have to humble yourself and talk to the artists and be like, yo fam, let's bring ourselves together, let's organize something. If we make money, we shall split it. If we do not make money, let's give the fans an experience, because the
Yeah.
fans cannot just be
So
there
they,
without
they
experiencing
help us
us.
make money next time.
Yeah.
So that we can bring the buzz back,
'Cause you have
bring the
to grow
excitement.
yeah.
You know, because sometimes artists don't realize it's up to them to create the excitement. If you go to Muyenga, do a listening party today, Muyenga is going to be talking about you for the next 2 weeks. You know, if you come to Nigeria, do something, Nigeria is going to talk about you.
At Tavern Breeze.
At Tavern Breeze.
Tavern Breeze is Nigeria off Levy Road and Bogo Road on the main road. Please don't forget. Yeah. So if you do all these things, like for example, the other day we saw, was it DJ Bush Baby come and do something opposite Tavern Breeze? I won't mention the place. But he did something, and and then all of a sudden we just saw the Bush Baby like conversations just coming back again.
Yeah.
You know, so what I would say is the people like ONJC, for example, who have proven time and time again that they have the ability to bring in paying audiences. He did something, what Gazebo together at that time, and which is near Tavern Breeze Gardens, Nigeria.
Nigeria off Mbogoro,
Anyway, enough
Blamida
ads,
Road.
man. Enough ads before they mute my mic. Yeah, so anyway, they did that. That's what I'm saying. And actually for Coin it was even interesting. He did a dress code because he did the themes of the album, the color themes, and he told everyone to come in that exact green which is on the album
Yeah,
cover.
this one,
And we all came wearing it. We all
Yeah.
came wearing it,
Yeah.
except Keko.
Wow. Call them out, why don't you?
But we all came wearing it, and it was a dope experience, and and some other people as well. It was a dope experience. So it showed that people actually have that willingness to come and follow. So again, when you're a show organizer and you're looking at it from that perspective, you need to make your money back. That's the first thing, because you don't want to give an artist 5 million and then make 1 million at the gate and then be in losses.
Yeah.
That's how show organizers get arrested and beaten up. You get me? So you don't want to be in that scenario. You want an artist who actually knows what they can bring to the table.
Yeah.
Because no, you see, when you're booking like comedians, a comedian will tell you, actually, no. There's this time when we're doing the stress clinic thing at Levels, and we called Bebe Cool, and we're like, yo, we have this kind of money for you. And Bebe Cool was like, no, don't do that. You give me this money, and it was ×2 of what we asked for. So it's like, how does that show run? We're like, we have poets, we have comedians, we have this and this, we have this. Is like, okay, you do this. You bring your poet and your comedian. Everything else, I'm going to do it for myself. So we had a jam session that was supposed to curtainize for him, and then him to finalize. And he's like, and also do this. I'm going to sell out all the tables myself. And I'm also going to sell out all the what? All the sitting areas. And he actually did it. And so we made the money that he had asked for. And another person I remember doing that was APAS. When again at Stress Clinic, I remember he had this manager she called Maureen, who is I think his sister.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm gonna sell out for you tables and make back the money. And they sold out the tables and made back the money. And I was like, this is very beautiful. This is what music business is.
Yeah.
You've asked me for an amount of money.
And
You've called fans who can spend that money.
It.
And it makes sense. And so I'm like, oh, this is very beautiful. If it worked like this everywhere else, organizers would be organizing shows every weekend. Because they know whatever money I've gotten to put in, I'm going to make it right back. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question that you're asking.
Oh, no, it really does. It really does. And now on a lighter note.
An even lighter one.
An even lighter one.
And the initially light one.
Small random questions.
Hey, you still
Don't
have
worry.
questions?
Yeah, I know they're this or that.
Okay.
So
For who?
For Denesi.
Hey, okay.
When do they? Don't worry, they're not dangerous.
Just me.
Well.
Well.
Chicken or pork?
Bombo clad. You're trying to set me up,
Of
man.
course, you say chicken.
Of course, I'm gonna say chicken, you guy.
Oh, really? Interesting.
I mean, that's
I'm
not
gonna
an of
slap
course
you,
situation.
Interesting.
Not very of course, but anyway.
Shout out all my Muslim fans. I love chicken.
Oh, wow.
I love chicken, guys. We can eat chicken together anytime.
After Eid is coming, so shoot your shot early.
And invite me.
Okay. The second one,
Uh-huh.
also maybe not as easy. So if you had to delete one forever, would you delete Tuliwano or Tip?
Why would you do that? From?
You love all your children.
Oh, my children are my favorite.
Now, you know what? Start asking me easy questions. I think that's what we need to do. Because you know what I'm thinking about? Yeah? I'm thinking about the money that came with those songs that I made. And I'm like, am I deleting the money also? Because if I delete the money, I wouldn't own some things that I own today.
So you delete them also?
Like buying this phone was from Tuliwano, for example.
What is good? So,
And Tip bought for me a lot of clothes and things like that and rent. I'm like, bro, would I be homeless?
That's an interesting way to
Yeah, man. No.
this question has
Don't
layers.
ask me that question. It's so layered, bro. I don't need to be on those situations like a movie where you actually say one
And it actually
and then you
goes.
snap and it becomes true. And then I'm stranded. I'm like, Damse, can I stay with you for 1 month? No, guys. Forgive me.
For instance, do I allow him?
It has to be simple,
okay.
bro.
They have given you. Okay.
Otherwise, I want to make you buffalo every drink you ever hold in your hand, bro.
Okay, this one is just two of our favorite songs of last year. Don't worry, this one is not you, so it's not your children, so you won't think about the clothes and the money.
All right.
If you had to choose your favorite of these two,
Mm-hmm.
there was Azawi's
Masavu.
Masavu and Elijah's Dawa. So which for
Dawa
you?
all day, every day. Not even
Really?
thinking Dawa.
Why Dawa?
Because Dawa is such a beautiful song. And also, like, Elijah is one of those artists that Songs Avenue signed, and his first 2 years seemed a bit shaky because he had beautiful music, but it wasn't really penetrating to like that level of like a big banger hit song. And so Dawa, first and foremost, I think Dawa is one of the first times he actually uses a non-Swangs producer. I had no shade to the Swangs producers. I just felt like he was like, I need to leave this comfort zone. And so he goes to Daddy Andre's studio and he's like, I've come here looking for a banger. I'm not leaving. I feel like he stayed there for like a month. He's like, bro, put for me your mattress on the floor. I'm not leaving this.
And I think Daddy Andre's landlord was like knocking. He was just there, just waiting.
So they
When you
did
made
it.
the beat.
Waiting. Yeah, because the way that song felt, already by the first 4 bars, the beats were already breaking like Diamond Platinum's. I'm like, bro, what? Oh my God. And then there's the Daddy Andre backups in the background. It's like, it just felt like a thing that they were all convinced to have to make a banger. And I felt like Chitaka was just scared of just being like a background figure in the whole Swangs movement. And he wanted to
Supporting
finally,
cast.
yeah. But then with Masavu, for me, personally, when people did the whole radio thing, it just like pissed me off. Because I was like, let the man rest. Let the man rest. He's a legend, he needs to rest. So when they did the thing of like having the radio version and DJs need to get serious, man. DJs played the song. And I'm like, do people
And
actually
it came out
understand?
before the actual one?
It
or
was like
something?
it was almost immediate. It was like
And I
immediate.
feel like it
Yeah.
overshadowed the
Yeah, and
Azawi
it overshadowed
version
the thing.
before, yeah.
And I'm like, DJs need to know that artists need to get paid royalties. They need mechanical royalties for being played on the ground, for being played on radios and stuff like that. So it didn't have to take Azawi filing like a notice to sue for them to stop
Oh,
playing
she
it.
did?
Yeah, she had to go
didn't
to
know
court and start
that.
threatening to sue people and arrest them. So it shouldn't reach that level. So I feel like Ugandan DJs just need to get serious. I love Ugandan DJs, but that song should have never been played publicly. It should have been a thing that people go on
Find
YouTube
on
and
the
find.
internet.
Hi,
You know?
Jeffers.
Jeff was already quarreled that we
Yeah,
keep
we
saying
keep
his name in the
calling
middle.
him out.
But on that note, I need to appreciate after taking a show, I have to appreciate all my DJ friends. The whole Sese Nation collective, from DJ Sese Alza all the way down to Handsome and Jealous.
Those are actual DJ names.
Yeah, man.
you
I love
Shout
that
out
their names
DJ
follow each
Jealous.
other. And it's always,
Handsome.
on the list, they always put DJ Handsome and immediately
Yeah.
after is DJ Jealous. So I'm like, is the other guy jealous because the previous one was handsome?
Wow.
Anyway,
That's interesting.
Shout out to my cousin DJ Calvin, also just went to China yesterday. I hope you give Chinese Ugandan chidongo and they love it. Yeah, man. Shout out DJ Alza. Everyone else, man. DJ Boogie, Selector J, Selector Jeff, Cass Baby,
for the ladies.
for the ladies. Yeah, man. You guys
Very
keep the
Cass,
sound
very
alive.
soon, yeah? You're going to be here sit next to me.
What's the name of the DJ who played at the Hip Hop Awards? Was it called DJ Money or something like that?
Listen, me, their names where sometimes my mind mentally.
Refuses.
Oh my God. I have to give credit to that DJ because let me tell you what happened, yeah? I arrive at the Hip Hop Awards. I find this guy gets us a table, Macula. We're there together with Ninja C, And who was with you? Jeffers and a
Jeffers.
couple of other people. Yo, so
Black
the first
vibes.
award comes and they're giving it out. As soon as the award is done, the DJ plays my song. And I was looking like I won the award. Then, I kid you not, the DJ did that for like the next like 7 awards.
Like,
Your song.
Like, get playing your
I
song.
He kept playing a different song of mine. And I was like, wow, this is how Jay-Z feels.
Are we sure he's not on retainer like Mark?
At
That's
this
exactly
rate.
what Mark asked me.
At
And I was
this
like,
rate.
bro,
I was like, what's
At
going on
this
here?
rate.
I was like, yo,
Shout
the
out to
DJ
that
who
guy.
did that and the guy who booked him, please book that guy again. That's a real legend right there, bro. Oh my God. If I just see his name,
Look at him actually searching.
I have to. Bro, don't even laugh, man. I have to. The dropout.
Oh, I know that.
Dropout
is a bad man.
Yeah,
Dropout
I
is a
know
bad
the
man.
dropout.
You are
Dropout
the
was
realest
scared.
DJ.
Dropout
world.
is so good, especially when it comes to like UG hip hop music. There's something
Yeah.
about him, like he knows his craft like far and wide. Like you listen to so many songs that he plays, and you're like, oh my God, I have never ever heard anyone.
Anyone else
Play
play
that
this?
song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyone.
bro.
Those are songs that you go to look like when you're in your TBT mode and like, can I remember this song of this one and that? And then you go and find that.
You go and look for it on Reverb Nation.
Man, you go and look at the foundation. But the
Bro.
dropout is dropping that stuff. Like, yo.
Oh my
bad man,
God.
Bad man.
I remember that day I think I didn't even drink alcohol. I was just ready too high.
You
from
are
that.
high on your.
I was like, I'm high on my own supply.
You're over smiling.
I was over smiling.
Happy.
Anyway, yeah.
And then give me one more because you dodged the other one.
Mm-hmm.
A big win in the 2025-2026. Bantu Vibes or Arsenal?
Hey, what is
Let
what
me
in
tell
the
you, bro,
question
Arsenal
is
can
that?
wait, bro. Bantu vibes.
Let's go.
Arsenal can wait.
What in the question
And that is the
that?
last one from me. That is the last one from me. Makobi. We're going to add something, and we're going to see. You know, our last week, the guys in the comments didn't over quarrel about Makobi, so we are giving him a chance to stay in things. So Makobi is going
Guys,
to
even today,
Yeah,
the
even
comments.
today.
eh,
What do you want in the
What do you want to
comments?
tell us?
just tell these guys to keep me here, man.
Performance review. Appraisal.
You had some tweets.
I like it. Just
Your tweets.
Oh yeah. So there was something very, very brilliant that happened on the TL this week.
Okay.
So I'll just want to highlight it. So this particular segment, Mark, what did you call it? We'll call it Makobi's
Makobi's what?
tweet plus? tweet positives and tweet negatives.
Tweet win or tweet loss?
Tweet win or tweet loss, yes. So there's a cancer run happening this weekend
Tomorrow.
on
Oh, well,
Sunday.
this weekend.
Yeah, on Sunday. If you see this, it will probably be late, but
If you're reading this, it's too late.
exactly. But there's a guy on Twitter called a journalist called Raymond Mujuni.
Ujuni.
Yes, I love
Hi, Raymond.
I love how he has used his platform to sort of garner funds for this whole cause. He has been, tweeting guys and asking them to buy kits, and most of his friends on Twitter have been buying kits and supporting this cause. So I thought that was like really, really brilliant. So that's like a real influencer, by the way.
Yeah.
That is actually
Yeah.
influencing.
That's actually influencing.
influential.
Yeah, and then for the Twitter
Loss.
tweet loss. Yo, DJ Nimrod, man.
What did he do?
So DJ Nimrod said, so he said GNL hasn't had an album with hit songs in the last 10 years or something like that.
Bombo clat.
And I'm cool with that. Like, you can criticize the art, but then he dragged the man's marriage as well. So then
Hey.
Yeah.
So then when Big Trill replied and talked about his weight, people were out there calling out Big Trill, saying he's body shaming him. But then the man talked about the other guy's
family.
family and stuff. So I thought that was really, really dumb. So this week that was like my tweet loss of the week. Was very
Man, we need to
very
leave the
childish.
legends alone, man.
Yeah.
The legends already did what they're supposed to do.
So my view on that is not even just about the legends. People on Twitter or X
Yeah.
depending on your generation.
You've ever banged.
Depending on your generation, I think we need to have better manners. The fact that you have a right to say what you want to say on your ex, everybody else has the same right. So if you come at someone and they come back at you, like, you brought it on yourself. But also, like,
True.
if you do not have the balls to say that to someone's face, then you have no business tweeting it.
Yeah.
Like, mwefuge.
That part.
You
But
get
also-
it? Because, like, I remember there's a time, and I won't name names, someone said some shit about someone's mother. But every time they'd go to the bar and see the person, they would be jumping over tables and fences because they're running away. Guys, if you can't say it to someone's face, then you have no business saying
Exactly.
it at all. And also,
Yeah.
if you come for someone and they come back for you, take it.
Yeah.
Allow it.
Take it
Okay?
like a champion.
Yeah, take it like a champion. Also, like, find stuff to do. Like, you can't just be their idol and this sort of thing. And all you have is time to talk about other people.
Anyway, that reminds me of a very important Sean Carter bar, where he asks, "Do you fools listen to music or do you just skim through it?" So Nimrod, go listen to the music, man. Leave GNM alone.
Hey, Nimrod, then when you're coming, come for that one. only the views expressed are solely of one person. Denesi, thank you so much for gracing us on the podcast. It's been such a dope conversation. I think we can go on, and clearly you have all the theology and the I don't know what. So we'll
What's that
continue
word?
this
What?
hedonism.
Hedonism.
Yeah.
Yeah, but thank you so much for coming. I think it's been
Make sure
great,
your head is on.
I think it's been a great episode, guys. See you next week on the next episode, and please like, subscribe, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Let's grow this community. Let's grow this platform. Like I said last week, tell us who you want us to have a conversation with. Tell us what you want us to switch up. Tell us what you want us to talk about, because we're here for you. Kind of.
You can even tell us if you want Denesi to come back.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Out.
See you next time.